Zhou Yifan walked in front but did not forget the two younger brothers of the Luo family. He carried their younger brother and went ahead to lead the way. Luo Yunchang pressed her lips together, cheeks flushing as she watched Zhou Yifan's figure, and resolutely said, "Wait for me, wait until I get out of danger. Then see how this young lady settles the score with you." The sky was pitch black, mist swirling and covering the forest before them, from the rocky outcrop where the three stood. The scene opposite was clearly visible. Luo Yunchang explained, "This is the mist forest. Fog surrounds it all year round. Once you step in, it's very hard to get out." She looked toward the distant mountain and spoke evenly, telling everything she knew. "My father says the mountain lord of Black Wind Mountain is very powerful. Not weaker than him, but in the past 10 years our two families haven't had trouble. I don't know why this time they suddenly attacked our mountain estate." At this she frowned, full of thought. Luo Yunchang was upset, but Zhou Yifan appeared delighted, his gaze unusual. "Heh heh heh, this place is excellent." Luo Yunchang made up her mind, gently hugged her brother and said to Zhou Yifan, "Zhou Yifan, you take the young master into the forest. I will go hold off the mountain bandits." Zhou Yifan straightforwardly refused. "I refuse." Luo Yunchang knitted her brows, gritted her teeth. "You?" Zhou Yifan looked at her indifferently and said coldly, "I am not familiar with the terrain here. If you are not at my side, I and the little brat don't know where to run. If you dare to go, I will crush this little brat to death." The words were like a knife, making the two younger Luo family brothers' hearts ache. Luo Yunchang looked at him in fear, while Luo Yunhai boiled with rage. "You?" Zhou Yifan was calm and uttered heartless words. "It's fine if you die. Don't drag me to die with you." He brushed past Luo Yunchang, leaving behind those cold, unworthy words. The corner of his mouth slightly curled. What he said next stunned everyone. "Why don't we destroy Steward Sun's men here? How about it?" The question stunned Luo Yunchang. She stood still a long time before reacting. She shouted loudly, "Zhou Yifan, are you mad? Rely on you? Steward Sun's strength is at Qi condensation level 6. I am only level 3. And the commander in charge of guards is level 4. Luo Yunhai also shouted, "Servant, all talk and no action." At those words, Zhou Yifan only smiled silently, seeing him calm as if resigned. Luo Yunchang urged more. "Even if I and Commander Peng join forces, we cannot beat him. What can someone who hasn't condensed Qi do?" Zhou Yifan heard this and repeated the question. "What can I do?" Then he turned, his face full of confidence, his bearing proud. "A bunch of fools, not worth my worry." He looked at the two younger Luo family brothers and made an offer. "In short now, either you follow me and risk it, or wait for them to catch up and die. Which is it, great miss? Do you dare?" Zhou Yifan's confident manner made it seem he held everything in his hand. His call was enchanting. "Before they catch up, hand over the spirit stones on you to me. The Luo family's last hope lies in your hands." Luo Yunchang clenched her teeth. Having made up her mind, she quickly took off the green jade ring on her hand and threw it toward Zhou Yifan. He caught the ring. She gripped it tightly and said miserably, "This is all the property I have. If you dare to betray me, even if I become a ghost, I will not forgive you." Zhou Yifan turned to her, reassuringly certain. "You will not regret it. Wait there for me." Luo Yunchang watched his figure move deep into the forest and then disappear among the huge trunks. Luo Yunhai, still angry, moaned to his sister, "This servant is so bold. Sister must teach him a lesson." Luo Yunchang patted her brother's head to comfort him and explained to Zhou Yifan, "Yunhai may not be respectful, but he's helping us, better than those sweet-talking people who stab us in the back. We will not repay kindness with hatred." She thought a lot, about the past days, about Zhou Yifan, and wondered what blows he had suffered. Inside the mist forest, Zhou Yifan went deeper. Trees grew thick and tall enough to block out the sky. His voice sounded eerie in the night. East azure dragon, west white tiger, south vermilion bird, north black tortoise, in the middle is the Qilin of the heavenly river. This was spatial combat, a place covered by an array. He stopped, smiled with satisfaction, regretting that no one noticed. His voice echoed. This time I will turn this place into the second heaven demon mountain. He formed hand seals, shouted and opened the 9 yin bright seal. Luo Yunchang's green gemstone ring glowed and slowly rose, hovering above Zhou Yifan's palm. With his loud shout, a murderous aura from the evil direction merged into the formation, and the ring radiated a brilliant golden light. Zhou Yifan pointed his palm forward and barked, "Open!" The 2 younger Luo family brothers also noticed the strangeness. Luo Yunhai cried out in surprise. "Sister, look quickly!" Before them the mist forest showed a strange whirlpool, pulling everything inward with a purple light. The dense fog around it was also drawn away and then vanished completely. Luo Yunchang worriedly, in astonishment. "The fog, has it dissipated?" Behind her came footsteps and a satisfied sigh. A familiar voice sounded. She looked. It was Zhou Yifan, and immediately demanded, "Zhou Yifan, what happened just now? What trick are you up to again?" Facing her, Zhou Yifan calmly replied, "Just the yin slaying formation. Nothing special." Then he turned his back to lead the way, assigning tasks to her. "Follow me. I will teach you the mantra for the yin slaying formation. When Steward's son's men come, you will control the formation to kill them." Luo Yunchang stared wide-eyed. "What, this is a formation?" The 2 younger brothers followed behind Zhou Yifan. In Luo Yunchang's mind 100 thoughts spun. Formations are treasures more precious than cultivation techniques. Formations are often the secret of sects or noble families and are not spread. A first-rank formation could be worth over 100,000 spirit stones and are all rare items. That thought made Luo Yunchang even more bewildered. How could a mere servant casually set a formation? She intended to ask, "Zhou Yifan, how do you know?" Zhou Yifan cut in. "Don't ask why, I have already set the formation. Now I will teach you the mantra. Let them come look for their death." Night fell. The forest's silence was broken by screams. Steward's son and his men had rushed into the mist forest. Commander Pang was tied up, struggling and screaming. "That son, kill me if you must. If not, I will definitely kill people later to avenge my dead brothers." Steward's son stroked his beard, laughing with pleasure, and said with malice, "Commander Pang, ha ha ha, once I get what I need, I will reward you. Those fugitives hide well. I don't know this terrain." Thinking of a plan, Steward's son spoke in a honeyed tone. "Commander Pang, later I'll be counting on you. With the lady's temperament, she surely won't abandon you." Commander Pang roared furiously. "Son, don't you dare use me to threaten the lady." Suddenly, the gray-haired subordinate exclaimed, "Steward's son, there's someone lying ahead." Steward's son squinted to take a closer look. Then his eyes widened. Opposite him was Zhou Yifan, sitting and leaning against a tree trunk. The gray-haired subordinate shouted in recognition, "It's the one who killed Bantsi." Zhou Yifan smiled cheerfully and greeted them. "Steward's son, I've been waiting for you for quite some time." The old steward felt insulted and said angrily, "Zhou Yifan, how dare you show yourself before me? Kill him." Immediately, the gray-haired subordinate dashed forward like an arrow, face twisted in fury, sword raised high to strike at Zhou Yifan. Zhou Yifan chuckled to himself. Everything was unfolding exactly as he had planned. He raised his left hand, the corners of his lips curling into a smile, and softly uttered 5 words. "The Luo siblings are here." At that, Steward's son snapped out of his rage and instantly shouted to stop his subordinate. Wait! The sword halted just short of Zhou Yifan's neck. Even in that perilous moment, Zhou Yifan remained calm, a confident smirk on his lips. Steward's son spoke in a cold, wary tone. Zhou Yifan, your mind runs deep. Even he had to look at the young man seriously now, his expression cautious. All these years, it seems I've misjudged you. Ignoring the old steward's attitude, Zhou Yifan slowly stood up and proposed. Steward's son, how about we make a deal? Perplexed, Steward's son narrowed his sharp eyes. What kind of deal? He replied evenly, as if equals. I'll hand the Luo siblings over to you. In return, you give me a future at Black Wind Mountain. Steward's son froze in disbelief. Commander Peng shouted as if he'd just seen a chicken flying through the sky. What? Steward's son stepped closer to Zhou Yifan, puzzled. Why would you do that? The Luo family hasn't treated you poorly. This sounds absurd. Zhou Yifan laughed disdainfully. Then why did you betray them? The Luo family treated you generously too. Veins bulged on Steward's son's forehead, he was seething. You? Without waiting for him to respond, Zhou Yifan turned his back and said coldly. Those who don't act for themselves will be forsaken by heaven and earth. The Luo family has already fallen. With my ability, I cannot turn fate around. He smirked faintly. Those ruthless words were his way of trading the siblings' lives for his own survival rather than dying in vain. Unnoticed by anyone, his hand quietly grasped a long red cord that extended deep into the forest. Tightening his grip, he spoke coldly. At the other end of that cord, the Luo siblings were hiding. There were many forks in the path. Only he knew which way led where. He naturally placed the cord into Steward's son's hand, as if building trust, making the old man smile slyly. Smart idea, using a red cord as a marker for safety. Twirling the cord between his fingers, Steward's son squinted in satisfaction. Even if it risked leading them astray, the plan made sense, at least it would prevent pursuit. Zhou Yifan remained silent, seemingly resigned. Believing him to be the same kind of man, Steward's son finally agreed. Very well, it's settled, you lead the way, and don't stray. Zhou Yifan's eyes gleamed with interest as everything moved according to plan. Steward's son sighed, his face full of regret. Words he once believed, now he could no longer trust. Zhou Yifan glanced at him, his eyes cold, brimming with killing intent. Both of them burst into laughter amid the tension thick as a drawn bowstring. The old steward barked his order. Lead the way. Along the path came the angry shouts of Commander Peng, cursing the servant like a storm. Zhou Yifan, you treacherous dog, selling out your masters for your own gain. I trusted you, and you dare betray us. Ignoring the insults, the group pressed forward. Steward's son's subordinates advanced forcefully as well, eager to avenge the earlier humiliation. Suddenly, Zhou Yifan stopped. Steward's son frowned in surprise. Why are we stopping? He opened his mouth and called out. Steward's son. The voice echoed eerily, as if from the depths of the underworld. In the darkness, Zhou Yifan's eyes glowed crimson like a beast's. His tone turned icy. I've guided you this far, the rest of the path leads to hell. My duty ends here. Steward's son's face changed drastically, he lunged forward, roaring. You dare? A tearing sound split the air. When Steward's son regained his senses, Zhou Yifan, the one who had just been struck, had vanished. All that remained were piles of wooden logs. He stood dumbfounded. What? Spinning in every direction, there was no trace of the young man. Realizing he'd been tricked, Steward's son shouted orders. Quick, back the way we came. His men reported. The red cord's been cut, and Commander Peng is gone too. Steward's son trembled with fury. Teeth clenched, punching the ground hard. Damn it, you little brat, I'll tear you apart. The forest air shifted. Crimson mist spread around Steward's son's group like flowing blood. A mocking laugh echoed through the trees. Ha ha ha, you'll never get that chance. Startled, Steward's son looked around. The gray-haired subordinate's face went pale as the surroundings turned a sinister shade of red. Regaining composure, the old steward barked. Stay sharp, he's close by. But behind them, a faint figure appeared, Zhou Yifan. His crimson eyes gleaming, voice as sharp as a blade. I'm ready. He began chanting a spell. Dust returns to dust, soil returns to soil. Laughing wildly, Zhou Yifan commanded. 9 nether demons, heed my call. The formation beneath his feet blazed with light, so bright that Luo Yunchang had to shield her eyes. She gasped in shock. The formation is out of control? Spirits were being sucked violently into the glowing array. Zhou Yifan screamed in exhilaration. Heavenly demon transformation technique. A crimson aura enveloped him. His voice rose, trembling with excitement. Foundation establishment, 7th level, 8th, 9th. His eyes shone with terrifying brilliance. His body fully unleashed. Foundation peak. After a brief pause, Zhou Yifan realized the demonic energy from the yin-killing formation was nearly depleted. His hand trembled with exhilaration. The higher the breakthrough, the greater the gain. A red beam descended upon him. When it faded, his form stood revealed, flawless, radiant. He spoke with calm finality. Qi condensation realm. This breakthrough expanded his meridians and multiplied his spiritual power threefold. He grinned proudly, stretching his arm with renewed strength. The forest was still shrouded in mist, yet now, Zhou Yifan stood stronger than ever. Darkness rippled like static on a broken screen.